Disastrous 6 weeks for the Baltimore Ravens, where the bad news just keeps on coming. Yesterday, Baltimore losing running back Gus Edwards and cornerback Marcus Peters for the season, both to torn ACLs. Edwards is the third running back that they lose before the season even begins. To call this a streak of remarkable bad luck is almost not telling the story. Since August 21st, they've lost 5 players to season-ending injuries, 4 of them with torn ACLs, and you see the names on your screen. These are people they're counting on in enormous ways. J.K. Dobbins was projected to have a huge year. Gus Edwards was supposed to be the guy who picked up all of that slack. Marcus Peters, a critical part of that defense. And, you know, sometimes I've made the remark that every year there is a team or two that has their season just irreparably ruined by injury, and there's just no way to predict who it's going to be. Is it the Ravens this year? Can they overcome all of this?
Yeah, they can, because they have Lamar. But at the end of the day, when you start to lose that many people that are key, especially running the football, and then it puts more pressure on the quarterback. He already has pressure on him. So now, how many more hits is he going to take? Because he's going to have to take up some of that slack of the running game. And how many big plays is he going to have to make and put everything on his shoulders? So it's definitely concerning for me. The one thing that's concerning is the ACL tears. I don't know if they need somebody to come look at the turf or what's going on with their practice facility or what's going on with the training, but to have that many ACL injuries, I mean, that's rare.
Yeah, the Dobbins injury came in a game. These other ones coming in practice. But either way, it's a disaster. So, Sacho, let's focus in on what this means for the quarterback. This was going to be the year where Baltimore expanded the passing offense, and then all their receivers got hurt. It was going to be the year where they leaned a lot on these running backs, especially J.K. Dobbins. Now they're all hurt. What is Lamar Jackson going to have to do to elevate this team?
Yeah, well, Lamar is going to have to be Lamar. And being Lamar means going back to that 2019 MVP Lamar. Now, will this hurt the team? Yes, some of your top players are out. But this team, the Baltimore Ravens, have a lot of depth. Like Anthony Averett at corner, he can come in and replace, to a certain extent, Marcus Peters. Obviously, your top 3 running backs are out, but you have depth at that position. And so the Ravens aren't going to be what we expected them to be, but they always find a way to win. And so I don't see them as a team where you say, oh, they're out because of all these injuries. They're going to figure it out. Will Lamar Jackson have more pressure? Quote unquote, yes, but you've got backs who can do the job, and Le'Veon Bell and otherwise.
They're built to run the ball, and I think once they get guys up to speed that haven't been in the system, that they'll be okay at running back. They do like the young guy Tyson Williams, who's now effectively the starter by default. The Marcus Peters injury matters a lot because they've been counting on that defense to be dominant. And part of the reason is that secondary, and he is a unique player in terms of what he does, his nose for the ball, his ability to make those plays. He's not as easily replaceable as just elevating the next guy up. So I think that one really shook him up. Overall, they're very shaken up. Obviously, they're in shock that this is happening. It just doesn't feel real that there could be 2 more ACL injuries in Baltimore yesterday.
And you hate to even, in a moment where all these serious injuries are happening, to even bring up something as comparatively trivial as fantasy considerations. But boy, Lamar Jackson feels like he's going to have to do it all by himself, right? I mean, it feels like Lamar Jackson, I don't know if it's an exaggeration to say Lamar Jackson could lead the NFL in rushing this year. He's a quarterback. Is that something that you think is a reasonable or a realistic possibility?
Yeah, because he's so talented. I mean, look, we've seen him. He was the MVP, and the things that he's able to do with the football in his hands. My biggest concern, I said prior to this season, was the amount of contact that he has to take when he's running the football. He's like a running back, but he also has to throw the ball. So it only takes one ding or a little shoulder or a finger to affect how you throw the football. So as a quarterback, that's what's concerning, because he has to be able to throw the ball down the field, but he's also a running back.
Yeah, but Lamar has led the NFL in rushing average for the last 2 seasons, and so we know he can run the ball.
Yep.
But I really don't think that the Ravens' game plan is going to deviate too much from what they were before. I don't think there's going to be more pressure on Lamar Jackson. Once again, you've got young running backs who you like. You've got Le'Veon Bell who you like. And so I think that the game plan will be the game plan. Defensively, losing Marcus Peters hurts, but this is what football is. It's next man up. And Anthony Averett is that next man up. He was a top 50 corner according to Pro Football Focus. He's going to shine.
Well, we'll see. That's an optimistic viewpoint of it, and I get it. And yes, you certainly give the benefit of the doubt to the coaching staff there and to the quarterback there. But boy, that is a lot to have to overcome.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.